Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to The Point. I'm your host tonight, Anthony DiNardo, as always. With me, we have a conglomerate of candidates today. Some new, some rejoining once again. So I want to go ahead and let everyone introduce themselves. So tonight we have, I'll start from left to right as always. We have Doug. Doug, go ahead and introduce yourself for us.
Yeah, I'm Doug. I'm the worst co-host of NS9. I'd like to assure our many viewers that this is NS9 The Point and not Sesame Street's One of These Things Doesn't Belong with the Other. These guys are, this is like, it's like watching Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and then I'm the Brian Dela Cruz of that lineup. So these guys, they're gonna hand me my lunch today, but I'll try not to embarrass viewers that this is NS9 The Point of these things.
Awesome. Sorry, here. I'm working some technical stuff here. So I appreciate it, Doug. Now, you're not the worst. Trust me. We all know that's Neil. So we'll go next here. Saxboy, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up? Saxboy, at Saxboy Billy. I can't wait to give my sports takes, man. I've kept them in the chamber for so long. I just want to talk ball with the boys. You'll see right here, I have the backgrounds and people are on like TV and stuff. I got a Ryan Domit bobblehead right there.
Oh,
that's my backdrop.
Vintage.
It's a giveaway from 2009 in the box. And so that's my big, that's my, like when Adam Schefter has all his books, that's what I get right there.
And once again, the cleanest bedroom I've ever seen.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Don't show my wife that. It can't be done. Next up, we have Steven Nesbitt. Steven, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Steven Nesbitt. I believe I'm the reigning guest of the year on this year podcast, and I'm a baseball writer for The Athletic.
There you go. Yes, you're right. Fanboy winner. We have two fanboys on fanboy winners on tonight. And then Josh, finish us out here.
Yeah, hey, I'm Josh from Bridge To Buctober podcast, and this is my second time on here. And also, Ryan Domit just might be my wife's favorite player.
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Awesome stuff. Thanks a lot. So before we go any further, let me, of course, let you all know BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, the NBA, college basketball, and NHL to UFC, BetOnline is the number one sports betting source for the new year. From touchdowns to three-pointers and hat tricks, BetOnline has you covered on every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. So, fellas, let's get into the show. Something? What's that?
Right, Ryan Domit has like a butthole chin. That's your wife's thing? That's a weird thing for you. I just remember that.
She loves all the catchers.
Not an attractive guy.
No, it's not about that. It's not about that.
Oh, okay.
She likes the catchers. She thinks they're tough.
All right. Keith Osick, number 2.
So not the butthole.
I don't know. No, it's Francisco Cervelli.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get ourselves into the vibe check. So, guys, it is officially bowl season, or is it? So what I want to ask you all more or less is, do you guys even care about bowl season? What time of the year is it for you? So I actually did something. As I said, every show, I always forget to see who goes first. I did it this time. Steven Nesbitt, you're on the clock. You go first. What's your take? Bowl season or no?
The number was 4, by the way, between 1 and 10. That was the winner. I don't even know that I agree with the premise of this, because bowl season is so radically different this year than it was in previous years. The entire structure has changed. So yes, bowl season. I mean, more sports is great. Baseball, we still need a few months for the earth to warm up and get the game going. So yeah, bowl season is great. I'm here for it. I was watching the Penn State game last night was texting some Penn State friends, and this is going to get sad and then happy at the end. One of the two friends that went to Penn State texted me after I texted the first guy and was like, "Hey, just so you know, this guy like lives in LA now, and his like in-laws place got burnt." And I was like, "That's awful." So I texted the guy, I said, "That's awful. I'm so sorry." And he texted me a bunch of things, including photos of just decimation. But he said, "I'll say one thing at least. Penn State gave me some normalcy and continued to lose big games." So full season forever.
Love it. All right. Well, there you go. Josh, you're up.
Yeah. I'd say I enjoy bowl games enough. Yeah, I like big matchups for college football. That's kind of the big thing. All the big matchups just kind of come with bowl games. So yeah, I enjoy it. There's Ohio State playing right now in the background of my video. Ooh. So yeah. So actually, I'm here because Jake said no, because he's like, no, Ohio State's on. Forget it. So
that's true.
I told him I was gonna call him out for it too.
Good. I'm glad you did. I'm gonna call him out too. Yeah, he stood me up. He said, Ohio State's on. I can't make it. So I guess that's the answer right there for you too. It is definitely bowl season for Josh, or for Jake.
For Jake, yeah.
All right, Doug.
I don't care for bowl season at all. I'm a fan of the Pittsburgh Pirates, so I spend a large portion of my life complaining about competitive imbalance, which is the hallmark of college football, right? I mean, at least when Paul Skeens pitches for the Pirates, we think we can beat the Dodgers, we can beat the Yankees. Nevada State, Mercer, they're not beating Alabama. They're not beating Ohio State. Most of the games, including the bowl games, are not very competitive. The playoffs were not very competitive, except for a few of the games. Certainly the first round. So no, I'd rather, again, as a glutton for punishment and a fan of a bunch of teams that don't seem possible of winning championships anymore, I start watching my 76ers flail about. So and to just, kind of stretch myself out and get ready for the Pirate season.
Such is life.
Yeah, why watch football when you could just look at the free agent list and like keep hoping and wishing for these guys and then descending farther and farther down the list? Yeah. So you're like Randall Gruchik? I guess I'll take him.
Yeah. Okay, he's an upgrade.
You start at Tyler O'Neill and you find yourself at Randall Gruchik. We'll get there.
Right. Save it, guys. All right, Saxboy.
I like it when it's non-Power 5 conferences, because there's always like a MAC team that goes to like Florida, and it's like one kid's like first time ever leaving the state of Ohio and Michigan, and he's got like a Hawaiian shirt and he's like at Disney World. And at least for good content to see people from the Midwest go to warmer places and climates. And there's nothing better than just like an extra large, like Gildan gray t-shirt with the Bowl logo on it from like 2017. So I like the deep cuts, your Mayo, your Jimmy Kimmel insight. There's something kind of fun about it. But yeah, I don't watch it, but I like it.
Good deal. All right, guys. Yeah. Well, good stuff. So it's bowl season for some, but for most Pirates fans, I guess we have a glutton for punishment. And yeah, there's that. Cool. So let's go ahead and move on then. We'll move off of bowl season. So, guys, we're going to still save for the Gritchuck and all the other stuff, but there's another thing that actually did happen. There's no more speculation. The Pirates made a signing. They made a move. The Pirates have signed left-hander Caleb Ferguson to a 1-year, $3 million deal. And as Alex Stumpf reports, potentially also going to be given a chance to start. So I want your guys' viewpoint. We'll go ahead we'll start with Josh, who is there with 1 point now. We'll start with Josh. What is your take on Caleb Ferguson signing with the Pirates? Good, bad, indifferent?
You told me it was Jeff Hoffman, not Caleb Ferguson. What's going on?
He wasn't ready.
No, he's a major league arm. When I first heard it, I was mad. You look at the numbers, he's not terrible. Some guys can't play in New York, I guess. And he struggled with the Yankees. He was good with the Dodgers. He was good with the Astros. So I don't know. Maybe he's just okay. It's a signing, and we needed left-handed pitching, so they actually kind of addressed the need. But I would say that if he's the only one, it's bad. If they can add another one, I think I could get behind this one.
Okay. Go ahead, Doug.
I mean, I agree. I mean, the Pirates are going to sign 10 more relievers, between now and, non-roster invites and all that sort of stuff. I mean, they're paying him, I guess, $3 million. So we expect a little more, but, like Josh said, he's lefty. He's got a good arm. A theme for me this year is going to be, what can Brett Strom do with some of these guys? And so I'm hoping, that's something that will help. And also, I'm not a big fan of Ben Cherington, but one thing he has been able to find is some scrap heap type relievers and make them effective. And this guy's definitely not a scrap heap. He didn't pitch well in Yankee Stadium. Hardly anybody does. So, he did pitch well in Dodger Stadium, where a lot of people do. So, PNC Park plays fair. It's a good park for a left-handed pitcher. So, yeah, there might be something there. I'm not mad at it. I'm not also making my October reservations either.
All right. Good stuff. Saxboy, Caleb Ferguson.
I have a new metric for how I view Pirate signings, and it's does this Pirates player have more Instagram followers than me? And I would like us to sign people that have more Instagram followers than me, please.
Not possible.
This guy does. Thank God. So I like it. Can we not sign people that are just absolute, like, I don't know, have this, yeah, God. But I don't know. I don't know anything about him. I guess, did he host a late night show after David Letterman? With a
he
robot?
did actually. Yeah.
I don't know anything. I don't know. I hope he's good. I hope he's a good pitcher for this baseball team.
Good stuff. We'll round it out with Nesbitt.
That's why you brought me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wish I had an objective measure like that. But no, it's like a fine pitcher. If you have to grade all these moves like as the individual move, as an individual move, sure, it's fine. Like that's the team just got a little bit better. Now, is he better? Is it better now than it was getting the lefty Aroldis Chapman a year ago? Probably not. He's not really that interesting of a reliever, but it's going to cost you $3 million. That doesn't really move the needle too much, or it's not supposed to. And so it's a guy who has some strikeout ability. He's good against lefties. He has a walk problem, but he's got a wide arsenal. I think get him with Strom, get him in that pitching program, see what happens. And if they really want to try to start him, I guess there's no harm. But I was under the impression that we were sort of beyond the experimenting phase where they were ready to hit go. And this is not the type of move you do to hit go. Now, if you want to try him out in spring training, go for it. This is a guy who has some talent, but is he going to break out and be a sudden number 3 starter, number 4 starter? I don't think so. So have at it. It's a guy who can do some good stuff, but it doesn't move the needle. And we're still waiting for something more significant.
All right. Cool. The floor's out there. Any rebuttals? Any other things you want to add in here? Anybody?
I think the starter thing is, I think it's words. I don't think that there's any real chance here. It seems to be the trend right now. If you're signing a relief pitcher, you have to promise he gets an opportunity to at least get a look at being stretched out and whatever. There's more money in starting pitching, so it feels good to be signed with an opportunity. But I think it's just words. I don't think there's any real meaning behind it. That's my take on that.
Yeah, I think that's part of the offer you give the guy is you say, hey, listen, spring training will get you stretched out and you can do some things for this team. And then in reality, you're like, we ran into 5 starters. And so you're going to pitch out of the bullpen. You can go multiple innings. There's no harm in that. We just saw Jeff Hoffman get signed for $3-33 in Toronto. That's a guy who actually is going to start some games. And Toronto needs that type of thing. This is not the same tier. We're not talking Jeff Hoffman. So you can say what you want to that guy, but in reality, you're giving him a major league deal for $3 million and you can use him as you need, which for this team is going to be as a lefty out of the bullpen.
Yeah, and you can use him as an opener, right? Yeah, there you go. You're a starter.
There's
you just
your
pitch
starts.
2 innings. Right. I mean, it's there's a lot of loopholes in that statement there. We're going to stretch him out. We're going to try him. In 2 weeks into spring training, he's throwing, single innings again. So yeah, it's fine. And then, you have him open for somebody one day. And we kept all our promises.
We gave you 3 starts.
There it is.
Right.
Just choose good mound music. It was so bad last year. Everybody's across the board, the batting music, the mound music. Choose some good songs. That's all I got.
What beer for my horses didn't do it for you?
Do you have a suggestion?
He had to change that midway through because his first one was so bad.
It's a jam.
Any suggestions, Saxboy, for Caleb Ferguson music?
The Macarena.
We're getting pretty bad.
Get people hyped up.
Yeah.
Interactive. Put some life in PNC Park. I don't know.
Cool. All right. So there's our Caleb Ferguson talk. So we'll go on to the next round. Just so everyone knows the scores right now, Doug and Steven are in the lead with 7 points. Saxboy and Josh tied with 5.
I have a question from the
I have points.
Do I have a way to see my points? I think there aren't no points on the screen.
I said this last time I was on the show. We didn't get points on this screen.
So
I actually
you guys can't see the points here, but if you pull up the YouTube,
what did I say that would have rendered points?
Can you tell us the best point made so far? What was the most point made?
Actually, I think it was you. I gave you 2 points for the Penn State comment.
Oh, thank you.
That's just hurtful.
So we'll go on to the next round, and as you all know, this will be the final round for all 4 of you. The total point winners, the 2 total point winners, I should say, we'll move to the next round. So the hot topic. So we've known there's a big hole in right field at PNC Park. They can't find any player to play it and be good. So they're on this mission this year to go ahead and find some people that can. And right now it seems that they're tied to Alex Verdugo and Randall Grichuk. Those are the 2 names that have been rumored and speculated around for this past week. So I'm going to ask you guys, open up the floor, and we'll get to start with Saxboy this time. Do you like this combo? Do you think either one of them is a good fit? Do you think there's another direction they should go? Saxboy, is there maybe better music they bring?
Well, the one guy looks like the Boss Baby, and the other guy has got a hockey name. He's got a hockey name. Grichuk. That's like a 4th liner on the Philadelphia Flyers. Can't be having hockey. You can't have names for different sports in other sports. Give me a baseball. I don't know anything about these guys. I know Alex Verdugo looks funny. He's a funny looking guy. And I mean, they both don't seem like.
We got to say, to his credit, like, if get him away from the Yankees, he'll look better. It's the look with playing for the Yankees with no beard. It was just horrible for him. It's a bad mix.
I mean, I hope these guys work out. Thank you. I will eliminate myself.
They haven't signed yet. Work out.
That might work out if they don't.
Either way, it could still work out.
It could still work out. Right? The best moves are the ones you don't make. Right?
Don't tell that to Ben. All right, Josh, you're up.
Okay. So unless Jerks and Profar changed his name to Alex Verdugo and Randall Grichuk, this isn't really what we had in mind, is it? So we talked about this yesterday too. I won't deflect anymore. Verdugo's a good player. I think that he gets a lot of bad rap because of how he was in New York last year, but he's been a decent player. He's not going to bring power. He's a different player than that. There's still a lot to like in his game. I mean, he was a 3-win player when he was playing in a platoon situation. So if you go back to a platoon situation, you get some upside there. If he's just facing right-handed pitching, he's going to bring a little bit of defense along with it. And he's going to have a big chain. So, Saxboy can wear a big chain to root for Verdugo. That'll work out too. And then on the other side, Randall Grichuk is probably the better player on his side of the platoon. He's got more upside. He's going to bring a little bit more power with it. He does kill lefties. The problem is do you go after a short side of a platoon or the strong side? Because you have more impact if you go strong side. And then you look at what the Pirates have on the other side. If they go Grichuk, they have to have Palacios or Sawinski. They have to work out. If they go with Verdugo, then, you could look at like a Billy Cook and say, all right, it's, it's 30% of the at-bats going to a guy like Billy Cook or even Nick York if he moves to a corner outfield spot. So I can see the fit. If they were going to sign both of them, they'd just go after Jerks and Profar. They're not, so I can't imagine them signing both. So it's one or the other. I could see either one of them being a fit. It just depends on which way you go. And maybe you don't go either way. Either way, hope it works out.
Doug.
Well, the problem with Verdugo for me is that he has been a slightly above average player while playing in Fenway Park and Yankee Stadium. That matters. It's something we never seem to consider, but it does matter. I mean, is he going to come to PNC and be a better hitter than he was at Fenway Park? Seems unlikely. Yeah. I mean, but I mean, our bar is pretty low because right field. I mean, I don't want to see Josh Palacios and Jack Sawinski, playing. So yeah, and Grichuk, you're right. I mean, Grichuk's going to be against the going against lefties, and I mean, I'm on board with that, but you've got to find somebody that can play again. There still needs to be another move. My hope is that Eddie Rodriguez takes over in the outfield. That he lights it up. They don't know what else to do with him. We've kind of written him off because he got injured and he didn't start out great. But a lot of guys struggled early. So honestly, I'd rather see that, or maybe again platooning with somebody like Grichuk or something like that. But where they're shopping and what they're trying to do, I don't know. Like I said, run Cook and York out there for a while, see how that works. If it doesn't, if Endy's hitting down at AAA, bring him up. He's probably not ready to catch. Yeah, I mean, none of them enthuse me very much, but they're probably better than what we have in place now. We need average players. I mean, we have a bunch of below average players. So if you can give me an average player over the below average player we're going to be putting there, I mean, again, I'll accept it. Much like Caleb Ferguson, it doesn't excite, it doesn't inspire, but this is who we are.
Nesbitt.
The broader and bigger point is that it's disappointing at this point in a rebuild. It no longer should be a rebuild, that you're still chasing 1-year bargain deals. And so could either of these players be helpful? Yeah. Could you dream up a scenario in which Endy faces lefties because he can't hit righties and Grichuk is the other half of that, the short side of platoon? Sure, that would work out fine. The only way I really like this is if you go get both of them. I could see a front office being like, okay, this is our right field situation. We didn't get Tyler O'Neill. We didn't get Jerkson Profar, but we got this combo that in the aggregate we feel pretty good about. Yeah, I think Pirates fans would come to really like Doogie, as they call him, quite a lot. Verdugo is, as someone now in the Boston area, like he is an acquired taste, but also someone who you dig when he plays for your team and you really don't like when he's playing for the other team. So they would be accepted. They would be brought in. They're good veteran presences. I think Verdugo is better than he's shown. I think Grichuk, probably there's some smoke and mirrors coming in the year he just had. I would have him strictly as a platoon bat, which lowers the value. And so those would be fine signings. They would be sort of like saving it at the buzzer a little bit here with an offseason that has not gone, I think, in any way what you all would have hoped, right? At the start of the offseason, if I told you wound up with a first baseman at Spencer Horwitz, you'd be like, okay. A bullpen that has not changed meaningfully and a right field platoon, you'd be disappointed with that outcome. That would be the lowest bar to clear, just like the trade deadline was last year. I'm sure I'm running over time and docking me points, invisible points. But the trade deadline last year was you cleared the bar with the lowest possible way to say we kind of got better, and then it really didn't work out that way. I think that's what this offseason is playing out with as well, which is, I think, a real disappointment for those who thought that they were going to take a step forward this offseason. It's just not happening.
Good. So it's time for rebuttals. So Josh, any last things to say here?
Very negative in right field. Absolutely anything is an upgrade for this team. I think either one of these players just raises the floor, but the ceiling's unknown. If you want to talk about bringing in Verdugo, you probably do have a better floor than the other side if you bring in Grichuk. But with Grichuk, maybe you have a higher ceiling. Maybe Sawinski, it's 23 more home runs or something, and you get 10 from Grichuk, and all of a sudden you've got a right field that can give you 4.5 wins or something like that. Then you feel really good about that. But the floor on that side is much lower too, because we just don't know what we're going to get from Jack Sawinski. And Joshua Palacios would have to absolutely reach his ceiling to really make a big impact there. All in all, either one of them makes the team better from last year, because anything will. We could put Saxboy in right field and feel pretty good about it this year.
Honestly, I agree with that.
Depending on his walk-up music, right?
Well, he would have great music, all AI driven.
and everyone will be a TikTok.
Now. Savannah Bananas type,
Saxboy.
I will say, just from how my brain works, I just want Josh Palacios to figure it out because he's hilarious with the fans. And sitting there in the Clemente wall, and you got a major leaguer who's like responding and like talking to fans. It's like, what's going on here? And it's fantastic. And just let's win more baseball games. Let's win baseball games. I wish someone would have attacked me because I had something prepared for that. There's something mean to me.
There's still time. Doug.
Saxboy, what are you talking about? Walk up music.
You son of a! Did you see the red light? Did you see the red light? Did that not work? I was gonna go yeah. Anyways, I'll see myself out. I can't see my points, but I can't imagine they're high. This is why I like to. This is why I love consuming pirate stuff. I don't like talking it.
Hard to follow that. No, it's right. I mean, it's where we are. It's January 10th. The Pirates have done nothing to improve this team. They've let some very, signable players talk of $100 million payroll, and yet we're at 76. And you couldn't have signed Michael Conforto. I get we didn't call Juan Soto in for a meeting. But and Steven said it best, right? This is year 5 of the rebuild. What are we doing with stretching Caleb Ferguson out? It's year 6. Yeah. And so we're stretching Caleb Ferguson into a starter.
It's not though. The rebuild should be over.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You can't have Paul Skeens and call it a rebuild. That ended the moment he came up.
That rebuild was 5 years. It's done now. Now go win.
I think this is our 17th 5-year plan since 1979. So it's getting a little frustrating because most of them haven't, brought much to fruition at all. But yeah, I mean, it's like, what are we even doing here? We're in year 6 and we're talking about which platoon player is going to help improve the team better. So yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I would have thought. And it doesn't seem like people's jobs are on the line, isn't Charrington and I mean, do they know something we don't? Did Charrington just sign a secret extension or something? Because man, he doesn't seem like a guy that's trying to improve a team to save his job.
Is there a way still? And I'm probably ruining the format of this great game. Again, my point value, I can see it skyrocketing. Is there a way still for them to pull out the offseason you were hoping for, or has that ship sailed?
Absolutely, with a good trade. Right? I make a trade. Go get Luis Robert Jr. I understand. He's got some injuries. He wasn't great last year, but you do something. Get a proven MLB outfielder.
Does signing a contract that probably turns out bad in the end, satisfy you? Like Anthony Santander, you give him 5 and 100. Is that satisfying you to play right field? Because at least to me, it's something. It signals to the players.
It's exactly. Look, it solves a couple of problems. Like, you've filled a position for 5 years. You've got a guy with actual power, right? You've got a guy that has played well.
Switch hitter.
Switch. I mean, that would, right. Is it the best move? Right. Is it the smartest move? No. But again, I always go back to the Washington Nationals signing Jason Worth to that huge contract. He did not live up to that contract, but in essence, he set the tone. Right. It showed that they were, look, we realize that we have to overpay a little for some players because not everybody is beaten down the door to get here. So we overpay. We might regret it in years 4 and 5. But that's the cost of doing business. That's the position we put ourselves in, the corner we've painted ourselves in. And so, yeah, I'd be very happy about that.
If not now,
seems unlikely.
If not now, then when? You just lost a year of service on Paul Skeens. You have 1 less year on Jared Jones and Mitch Keller. The time is now to make those moves. And if they're not going to do it now, that tells me they're not going to do it. They're going to win a very specific way or try to win a specific way. And that's with homegrown talent. I don't have enough of it. And so,
and they don't develop it,
and they're not able to develop it in this way. Like the facts that Ken Rosenthal and I laid out last year about their free agency, their unwillingness to hand out multi-year free agency deals since, like, what was it, JSO, I think, that still stands. And if you're not going to sign anybody to a 4-year deal now, that at least get you through like the Skeens window, you're not going to do it. And so that's why we're in a position where we're talking about Gritchick versus like two guys who are on deals who theoretically could be flipped at the deadline if things go south. How about you sign a deal that doesn't have that clause involved, right? Maybe you give somebody an opt-out deal, which they've never done before, to say, we need you badly. Come here and play. And if it means you have a great year and you opt out, well, then we didn't have to pay you a whole lot of money. So,
yeah, I would say that that Ben Sherrington, operating under a guy who hasn't maybe signed an extension, if we called this a prove it year, if he could either take that two ways, either go out and do something he hasn't done yet to try to prove that he's doing it right, or he has enough pride to say, no, I'm going to prove to you that I've been doing it right. And he has total faith in what he's already built. And he's just trying to go off of that, which for a lot of us is like, you know, we don't like it. Right. So if somehow miraculously this thing works out, he's going to sit there and wipe off his shoulder and say, I told you so.
Yeah.
But as far as that other signing, I mean, Doug says he would like the Santander move. I've been a Pirates fan and been around Pirates fans long enough that if anything doesn't work out, they will not be okay with it. They will definitely let you know how terrible that was. Whether it's now or later, there will be at least 50% of the fans who will hate it now and then hate it later.
Good call. Good call. But ultimately, winning solves things too. So you could hate something, but
that's
they're
the social
winning.
Media world we live in, right?
Right. And Saxboy will make us.
It's just so hard to do a show like this about the Pirates because we all agree and it's all terrible.
All right, guys. Well, I thank you for.
Just got 27 points. Right.
Right. I do thank you for all that. So that was our fun around with everyone. So we have to give the boot to a couple people. So I do want to say Saxboy with 8 points. I'm sorry, you got to go. But stay on. Points. We'll bring you back. But any last words for you go?
8 points?
8 points.
That's all?
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to see what I got those points for. But no. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Good luck, guys.
All right.
You're great, Saxboy.
Saxboy is off. And then, Josh, you had 15. Any last words before we get you the boot?
Yeah, this is the second time in a row I've been 1 point shy of going on to the next spot. So, Jim Rosati, you better open up that box of Chrome because I'm spending way too much money in this house. You need to open that because you have the Skeens card, and that means I can stop spending all this money.
All right. So there it is. So here's our fun round. So once again, as everyone knows, this goes up to YouTube. So I'm going to put the poll up right now to get it ready. We're going to have the first round here. We are going to talk now breakout. It's breakout season because there's no news to talk about. There's nothing else with the Pirates. So we're just going to speculate and spitball here. So I want to know from the both of you who you're going to predict is going to be the breakout player of 2025 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. So let's go ahead and do this. Actually, you both have 16 points. So pick a number between 1 and 10. Doug.
8.
Steven. 4. It's 4. So Nesbitt, you go first. Or no, you choose. Do you want to go first or do you want to go last?
I'll go second.
All right, Doug. You said let this bitch go first.
Wow. Since I'm going up against a writer employed by the New York Times, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to give you 2. And first is Enny Rodriguez. I mentioned him earlier. I think he can hit. I don't know if he'll get his opportunities, but I'm hoping that he can find some of that magic that he had at every stop along the way in the majors or in the minors, winning MVPs in the leagues he was in, that sort of thing. But also, I think Mitch Keller may break out based on the new assistant pitching coach. And instead of getting 3 good months out of Mitch Keller, I believe we might get 6. I think this guy might be able to get through to him. And Mitch Keller will be the pitcher that we all sort of think he is and that we argue that he is and that we sort of, in my opinion, overvalue. We say Luis Ortiz is no good and it's not a big deal to lose him, but Mitch Keller, but when you look at the numbers, Luis Ortiz was a better pitcher last year. So it's that for me. It's those two guys. The problem, as we've been talking about all night with the Pirates, is that there's 11 guys that we need to break out, and that's usually not how it works. So, but those are my picks.
All right, Steven, you're up.
Given that I work for the New York Times and I want to get someone who picked 2, I'm going to pick 2 as well. I thought about Endy, and then I realized he can't hit one side of one hand, so I'm not going to go with him. I will go with a guy we talked about a lot at the winter meetings, Spencer Horwitz, the big acquisition at the winter meetings. I don't think he is nearly as powerless as some of my colleagues think, including Keith Law, who thinks that he's just a pretty average bat. I think this is a guy who's got great contact quality. I think he can handle first base just fine. He is a handedness that the Pirates desperately need. He is a under club control that they desperately need. He's going to sit in the middle of that lineup for a long time to come. Put him 5th. I think he's going to run into some more power as he continues to mature in the major leagues. This guy has a good bat. He's got a good eye. I think that's going to play really well. And the other guy I'm going to go with is someone coming back is Johan Oviedo. I think that's a pitcher we saw some really, really good flashes from in 2023. I don't know what sort of restrictions he's going to be on, but again, bring Strawman, get someone he can who can potentially push him to that next level. It's a wide assortment of pitches. He's got velocity. The command has been an issue. If they can hone that in, play some of the games that Houston and Tampa have played over the years with giving him one spot in the center of the plate, just hit that target and you won't hit it and they'll be beautifully sprayed across the plate. I think that all can work really well for a guy like Oviedo, and he's getting to a point in his contract too where like he's talking about bigger money. Like there is more pressure on him to perform at this stage or be sort of trade bait. And there is not the sort of pressure in the roster formation for him, right? I mean, he needs to grab a spot in the rotation, but he doesn't need to be the number 2, even the number 3. Be a totally perfectly cromulent number 4, and people will be extremely happy with that. And you'll keep your spot on the roster and keep your money and all that. So Oviedo and Horwitz are my 2 picks.
Awesome. Cool stuff. So everyone on watching the stream right now in YouTube, go ahead. I have the poll live right now. Go ahead. Choose your winners. You can start. I'm going to give you guys the floor again, so you guys can have your rebuttal. Doug, you want to attack on Nesbitt and tell him how terrible he was, vice versa. So Doug,
I mean,
your chance
I
to
would
win
love
it.
to, but those are 2 great picks. I like, something we. I mean, I guess we do it in all fan bases, but we write guys off after they had an injury. All right, Oviedo was coming on and he was looking good. Now we, pitched him to death when we had the 2-man rotation there in 23. But yeah, I mean, I would expect good things. And again, I have faith in Strom. I feel similar about Michael Burrows, that sort of thing. So yeah, that was a great pick. And Horwitz does have all right. I mean, he makes good contact. He's got a good batting eye. He doesn't strike out. It's hard not to believe that he can't be. So rather than disagree, I'm just going to second that and, understand that my lunch has been handed to me and I will be watching Steven make his last one.
I was going to say, I'm not quite sure if you understood the rules. I could go over them for you once again if you would like.
I already sort of
I rebut to that. Like, what do you do?
I won't rebut to his lack of rebuttal, but I will say with Endy, I mean, I said he can't hit left-handed pitching, but I think that aside, I think the more important point is that I think they desperately want him to be a catcher. I think they're going to do everything they can to keep developing him as a catcher. Henry Davis has not worked out as a catcher. They will still have hope. There is no trade value in that guy right now, so they need Endy to work out. They need Henry to do the best he can to find a spot in the majors. And so I think they're going to take time to try to develop him as a catcher. And I doubt they're going to be quick to move him to the outfield. I could be wrong in that, but I don't think they're desperate to get him like more looks in the majors as much as they need a catcher beyond Joey Bart for the future. So I think that's maybe a reason I doubt he breaks out this year at the major league level, at least.
Well, good stuff. Those are really good points. I mean, I liked your first 2 at first as well, Doug. I thought you could have had a backbone and attacked your point some more, but I just want to say this too. Like you saying Mitch Keller, that says a lot. I can't wait for these upcoming post-game shows because you're talking about Mitch Keller breaking out. The chat, I don't know if they're ready for this, Doug, in 2025. So,
well, if he has that 5.05 ERA on May 1st, I will mention that on occasion.
Say it sounds like
then when he has
your
his second half, yeah. Hopeful.
All right.
I'm hopeful. I'm always hopeful.
Well, I'll give the poll just a few more seconds here and we'll close it. So if you haven't done so yet, of course, get your vote in here. Is it Stephen Nesbitt?
It's really jarring not having access to any of the information.
Yeah,
You just gotta watch the show live, I guess. On
one that,
YouTube.
You just have to trust Donardo, right?
This is how we get guaranteed 4 viewers watching. That's the whole point of this. If you bring 4 people on, then we'll have 4 people watching. So it's all for the algorithm.
I'm going in.
Do we have a debrief after? Do we get to talk to the people?
No, maybe we should do that.
Get out of here.
We'll have the point after dark.
Nice.
All right, so I'm closing the poll in 3, 2, 1. So Nesbitt, you
I just
won
voted for Doug
with 54%. So there it is.
No,
so,
it's a Doug one. I just voted for Doug, and it says he has 53%.
Oh, it does say tonight's winner is Doug.
Hold on. Wait, are you for real? Oh, shit. It did. Did votes come in after hit end?
You know, you're hurtful.
Doug,
Anthony.
You won 53%. What happened?
That's a good question. I did not prepare for the next segment as
Nesbitt, you were literally at 54% when I hit end. That's crazy.
I logged in and I clicked Doug.
So you did you pick
to
Doug?
Cede my time.
I don't even know what happens at this point in the show, so let Doug talk.
Well,
I would be happy.
All right, so Doug, you win. Go ahead and talk your shit here. Floor is yours.
I mean, clearly there's been some hanging chads here. There's going to be an investigation into this result. We cannot trust our elections. It's clear, especially here in Florida. So, but no, I mean, tonight was a great show. It was a lot of fun. You know, and where we always are, but there's hope. I was texting with a friend tonight and saying, hey, you know, Cook and York might be interesting. Can Nick Gonzalez step up just improve a little? Can Joey Bart, you know, maybe not have had, you know, I don't think he can do necessarily what he did last year, but maybe not a dramatic drop off. What can Horowitz do? How are they going to use these young pitchers, Harrington, Chandler, you know, Burrows and Ashcraft, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of reasons to watch the Pirates this year. I don't know how it will result in wins and losses. History has not been kind to us, but yeah, so, you know, we'll be back soon, right? We're going to be in spring training before too awful long. Follow along with NS9. Make sure you're reading what Stephen does. Listen to Bridge to Buctober, and you can't avoid Saxboy Billy. So he is ever present.
You actually can't. You can try, but you can't.
Yeah, can't be done. Can't be done. I just want to know what Saxboy Billy's walk-up music would be.
Well, good stuff, Doug. Awesome. Congrats on the win. We'll bring everyone back. You're all off mute. What would your walk-up song be, Saxboy?
What?
What would your walk-up song be?
It would be the Macarena. And I wouldn't step into play until the entire crowd was doing it. And, you know, if Doug did his whole thing, his whole final point with this red light, he would have won easily. But he squeaked it in the end. Congratulations, Doug.
Because Steven was
I now
done,
have a new
and he voted
goal.
for me.
I need to get double digits. I made points like Caleb Ferguson, Craig Ferguson, and I somehow wound up with 8 points. I don't get this show, but anyways, I should have negative 8 points. I should have negative 8 points.
Like I said, totally unbiased.
See, I took the high road with my rebuttal, and Steven voted for me. So there you go.
It's a good show.
That was the one that tilted it too.
This honestly, like, this was the weirdest. Steven, you were giving Doug in the last round, well, the third round, I should say. You were asking him questions to give him more points. You're like, well, what about this?
I needed to hear it.
Everyone was like, hey, no, you win. I don't want to win. You do it.
Apparently, the people didn't like my use of the word cromulent. It was too much. So I get that. I got to take that into my.
By the people, was that Jim?
Election. It was Jim.
That sounds like Jim. This is why everyone hates Jim.
I will be running to the dictionary. I will say that. But
All right. Well, everyone, once again, thank you for joining. Tonight was fun. For everyone watching, appreciate you guys watching, joining along, and voting. Why you voted Doug, I'm kind of confused on. But Doug is tonight's winner.
It's getting a little hurtful there, DiNardo. I mean, mild shock is fine, but just, kind of, dial it back a little.
I mean, hey, maybe that's the new thing, right? Just being nice.
Keep in mind, you put me on this show. You put me on as a co-host on NS9. So the bill is due, right? You are reaping what you sowed.
Right.
Have you guys talked on NS9 about how Doug was an owner operator of a Blockbuster Video competitor?
Your competitor, yeah. No, that's not come up.
We actually have not.
Express Video in Amesbury, Massachusetts.
Not in full detail.
It's like 20 minutes from me.
Doug's secretly the most interesting guy on planet Earth.
Doug, I live in Exeter, New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
I lived in Amesbury for about 9 years. Yeah.
Nice.
When I was there, 93 to 2002, 2003.
Nice. We got there 20 years later, but my kids love one of the farms in Amesbury. So, seeing cows.
I mean, it was a nice little town. And do you ever see the statue there in the town square?
Mm-mm.
It's the Martin Sheen, the president.
This is how you
West
finish
Wing.
the show.
Yeah. It was a descendant of this guy. You know what I'm saying? West Wing's been on for 4 years. I'm looking at this and it's Jebediah. I can't remember what Sheen's name was as president on West Wing. But anyway, Bartlett. Yeah. There's a Jebediah Bartlett. He was a signer of the Constitution and he was a real person. And he said, I'm walking around my little town there and I'm like, holy cow, this is, I just thought that was a made up name, but
nice. That's great. Are we not going to address some of the chat? The chat's popping out here. We had Henry Davis right field arc. I didn't know that was happening, but I guess sure he could talk himself into that. We had
well, where would you put him if he's not going to catch? Where do you think he's?
No, I think
where's he best used?
That is he has to earn the spot. That's the unfortunate part. You can't just hand it to him in a platoon or something right now.
Him so badly.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him in right field.
Handled Henry Davis so bad.
And then I was told by somebody, I think it was Penn in here, that if I just picked Jared Triola, I would have won. I don't believe Jared Triola will be the breakout, but had I been angling for the victory, that was my play.
Can I just say something about Henry Davis?
Yes.
I'd love to hear it.
Wear batting gloves. Thank
That's
you.
it.
You can't not wear batting gloves and then not hit the baseball.
You know what, Saxboy? Just for you,
give me some points.
Yeah, double digits, baby.
Great, Jason Kendall. Yeah, you can.
There it is.
Wear some batting gloves, dude.
Cool. Well, everyone, as I said, I appreciate y'all for coming on. Let's go ahead and get out of here. We'll be back in 2 weeks again for another The Point. So with that said, bye-bye.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.